So I am keeping it up. My staying up all night pattern now is becoming this thing I do like it's my job. Because it is my job twice a week to stay awake all night on shift at the gas station where I work. Um, I've just found that it's easier. I work 3 swing shifts from like 3 to 10 to just stay up all the way to like 5 in the morning and sleep from like 5 to 1 every day so that if the other graveyard shift guy gets sick or something, I can always just fill in. I'm slept up or whatever you call that, rested up at the right time in the day, so I can still stay up all night because I do it every night. It is weird though, um, how it feels different working a work shift versus just sitting here reading something, um, doing some research or listening to some videos, etc., etc. Um, Looking back on last week, I guess everybody thinks I overreacted to this guy because they look at the video and they don't see from my angle like what he was doing. And I think I maybe just felt more mad about the way he was. I still feel that he was doing this thing where he was like kind of like acting like he was gonna pull something out of his pants. He was probably had been on drugs for a couple of days. He wasn't too crazy. It was actually weird. I was sitting in a chair. At first, he wasn't too crazy. He walked in, and I was like happy to see him. I don't know, like bald people, they're cool. I always think that people who have bald heads are cool, but um, and we sell beer, and I don't know. I don't drink anymore, but I think drunk people are funny. Actually, it's kind of entertaining talking with them. And I know we're not supposed to sell beer to drunk people, but people come in like I don't know. It's like one sober person and their drunk buddies and shit, and they're pretty entertaining. But so I left the job site and just like walked home, and then because I got mad that I felt like I was threatened, and then went back on the job. Well, this weekend, and this was last night, I guess. Uh, our security guard. We have a security guard at the whole little uh, property there. There's probably like 10, 15 businesses. And he didn't get robbed. He got his laptop tablet stolen. He left it in his backpack and he came into the gas station as is his habit. Um, but he went to the toilet a little too long. And then talked with me a little too long while drinking a cup of coffee. He went back out and someone had stolen our security guard's backpack. Like the guy's paid to protect the place, right? And then he gets his backpack stolen. We're right at the terminal end of one of the bus lines that goes all the way downtown San Diego up here to not the terminal end, actually, the second to terminal end, to Escondido. So it's our place it stops, and the next place it stops is the Escondido Transit Center. So you get people who are homeless and they like to come up here and like sleep in the eucalyptus tree. I feel like I'm a hotel keeper for these homeless guys. I go, oh yeah, just go sleep over there under the eucalyptus. Don't bug anybody. Here's a couple of tall boys. Haha, do you need some mints for your pillows? Like, come back in for like noodles and stuff. It's like I do know some of these guys' names who are regular people. They're like regular guests in our neighborhood. It's funny because there's really nice houses there, but then there's 3 gas stations and a storage unit place, and then this trailhead. So, I really don't know exactly where these people sleep. Some of them I suspect hardly sleep at all. They seem like they're on harder drugs, but it's not a thing where the neighborhoods around where they go up into the neighborhoods and do any type of crime. They do sometimes bug the people at the gas station for money. We kind of talk about, oh, we're not supposed to let them bug people, but we kind of like we don't know what the hell else they're supposed to do with their lives. They need like some little amount of food. I think it's probably healthy for people to feel a little bad about driving a nice car and someone not having any money. But if they bug people too much, we call the cops or the security or whatever. But one of these guys just like snagged the security guard's backpack, so I forgot to print up the lotto. And then I didn't think it just like it was weird because I was talking with the guy about all the eventualities of like what he had to do to replace his T-Mobile tablet, and like I just completely lost track of one part of my job on Graveyard is to print the day's lotto reports. Um, and I didn't ruin or deadline the business. I just had to. I didn't think of it until 3 a.m. I went, oh crap, and then it turns off and then turns back on, but then you can't log back in till like 6 a.m. California State Lotto. Um, so I just missed it, but I was able to call back in when I got home. Like I walk home for 45 minutes, and so it was like 5 to 5:45, and then called my coworker, and she doesn't work graveyards, but I've been showing her the different paperwork. So I try to I try to make it sound like, oh hey, now you know everything about graveyard there is. That's the one thing you never saw until now. She's like, yeah right, you forgot. I'm like, okay, but don't tell the boss. So maybe she'll tell the boss. Whatever. I think I've forgotten a couple times, and they're able to do it. They're able to reprint the back one, but it's just kind of ironic, and it just shows, even in good neighborhoods, people get off the freeway and they do weird stuff. Like we get some aggressive thieves and stuff, and if you say, "Hey, put it down," they'll be like, "What? How dare you accuse me?" Like whatever stuff. Or some of these people are really really cool. Like some of the you will have a question mark in your mind, like kind of like gnarly gang looking dudes with tattoos and stuff. They're just like really really cool. Well, they're on their way to Tijuana a lot of the time from Riverside, San Bernardino, or LA. But every once in a while, one of them will walk in. They're like having a weird day. You just be like, "Oh fuck, is this it? Am I gonna get robbed?" So I don't know. Gas stations are a thing in and of themselves, especially the ones right by the freeways. They just have a different thing going on than in the neighborhood. So I don't know. I get in this doldrum part of the night. It's only 1:22, but I feel like I need to make a video for the week about whatever the hell happened this week. So that's what happened this week. Shoot, I don't know. I'm working on my software stuff still. Working on saving some money for the next couple little parts. I'm always doing something incrementally that I'm really excited about, but no one else has gotten much excited about it. I'm not the greatest marketer in the world. I'm putting together a suite of software that is just like efficiency tools for people to use. Like we're putting together a Microsoft 365 reseller, so you can use your Microsoft Word and Excel through a subscription to doc completion forms. So you get your contact form, a PDF reader that looks at your fills out PDFs with the contact form information. You can connect to Zapier, and Zap to 2,000 other products. You can put together WordPress with SiteLock. And when we get Microsoft 365, one of the really cool things I'm looking at is the add-in for Lexis, Advanced Lexis Nexus. It's called Lexis Plus now, I guess. I don't know. Just Lexis. And if you have one of the subscriptions, it costs like $80 to $175. But you can plug in your subscription to your Microsoft Word on Microsoft 365. So that inside the document that you're writing, you can do your research right there. And you can do your citations and your points and authorities, and you can shepherdize whatever law you're talking about for whatever argument you're making. I mean, shepherdization is the thing to do. So Lexis is a pretty amazing tool. I'm really looking forward to being able to roll all that stuff out, but it's just kind of going slowly, but it's good. And one of the other things, though, that I'm looking at when we get all of our document selection and document completion automation end of the thing done, and we have the full expert law system, then I'm looking at some of this is why I have two businesses. Is Sentinel Trust is my software business, and we're making a retainer. Crypto.online is a crypto utility token for client-side controlled payment distribution to someone who's providing services. So you commit like the whole amount that you're going to pay someone, to the transaction, but that's instead of going into their trust account and them paying themselves earned money out of their accounts, you yourself will pull the trigger on distributing final payments out of the amount that's committed to the transaction to the person providing the services. And if there's a dispute, you'll have um, an oracle key. Both people have an oracle key, and you can let it go whatever way you want to, or send it to a judge, or send it to an arbitrator. And that's that. But with Apex Law Service, my other business trust, I have two business trusts, and that's a paralegal subcontracting and marketing business where we find people with a legal issue, connect them to an attorney conversationally who, if they hire directly, the attorney has agreed that people who we introduce to them and they hire, and we have 25 different attorneys who do different types of law who are our clients, they will subcontract to us. So within this business modality, I have a little bit of consulting I've been doing, showing different people how that paralegal subcontracting and marketing business modality works. And I do stuff for free because sometimes people just have a little bit of questions, and I just point some stuff out to them, point them to the pages on my website where I've written about how it works, and I show them the documents, the contracts that we use. This is all getting to AI though. When you have a platform for what you're doing, so we have people who are doing this type of business and they need an expert law system. Looking at one way of using AI. Now, I mean, this is like 27 steps into the future, maybe 5 years down the line from where I am, but encoding a law process into an expert law system. An expert law system is a specific thing at law where someone is answering conditional logic questions along the way. So you ask them a question, and then it asks a different next question. The contact form does based on the person's answer to the last question. So they have answer options, and you show them the significance of each answer option. So it's sort of like you know how informed consent in medical realm works. You tell someone the significance and their options and what will result from making a different choice at one stage or another in their medical treatment. Well, same type of thing is like, okay, if you have this situation going on, you need to do this. And if it has this different shade of a scenario, you need to do this within doing that first other thing. And you can ask the question so that someone answers, okay, this is what I'm doing. And therefore they know that they're directing you to do this other type of document procedure. So that's something where if you're a bonded and registered legal document assistant, you can just take that information and then fill out someone's documents for them. But once we have our full expert law system, document selection and completion utility, that's something that's set up automatically. It requires no license whatsoever other than you telling someone that this is information, this is you answering questions that indicate what forms you would like the expert law system to fill out with your information. So you're basically just using a dynamic tool once someone has encoded a law process. But that's one of the things that I'm thinking about AI for. So you can do this as a lawyer or a paralegal subcontractor or an LDA or just someone doing an expert law system encoding. But I'm looking at the idea of using an AI to help someone actually encode the questions. So you'd have an area of law and maybe like a natural language API along with some of the other legal AI that are out there. I mean, I have no idea how to interface between our expert law system, neutral utility of software, and the AI that's out there, but helping someone to do that because it is a big, huge pain in the butt just to think through like what questions would you ask someone. But most professionals have like a questionnaire of here's what you need to know, like if it's someone going through a divorce or if it's an uncontested divorce, um, or a civil litigation situation or a will or a trust or you name it, whatever area of focus you have, whatever real estate transaction you're working on, a real estate litigation situation. um, there's checklists. You have these checklists that you go through to ask the right questions. So you just encode that. So maybe connecting that type of thing into a natural language API would help someone make their contact form, their information intake form, that then translated into their expert law system, which is then not AI. I don't know what AI is going to be at law in the next coming decades. I mean, the arguments about expert law systems all came from the difference between information and legal advice, and the fact that an expert law system is just like a book sitting on a shelf that you have to, that's dynamic when with which you interact. So AI could end up being this thing where, um, for consumer protection, you know, someone there might need to be some type of licensing to use certain types of software. I really don't know. So I just am not worried about what it's going to be, but just how it could work. But you do need to have a forum, like what you're using it for, and I have both sides of that, the technology and the paralegal subcontracting. So that's what I'm kind of aiming at now. It's a far goal beyond the intermediary steps that I already have set out. It's just a matter of completing them, putting the funding together, closing deals here and there to do paralegal work for different attorneys, and helping other people put together software, defray some of the costs. But I'm not relying on the business itself to pay for the development of the business itself at the moment. I'm just keeping up the holding costs and making a little progress by working at a gas station. It's an essential business. I got the job right before this COVID thing happened. I joined the Marine Corps because it's a fucking essential business too. Like 2007, I joined because we're always going to need Marines, and we always have petropolitics and other things going on, and our whole world runs on petrol. Who knows what's going to happen after 2035 if we have no more new gas cars sold in the state of California. As goes California, so goes the nation is a real big actual thing. I mean, well, we started turning right on red lights first, and now everybody does it. So that could be, the future, but we're gonna have old cars for a while. The gas industry is not gonna shut down in 15 years from now. But yeah, so I have my little essential business that I work for, and I'm plugging along, just freaking plugging along. So one of the cool little things about my overall project is allinservice.org, the project to help kids on juvenile probation. It's just a blueprint for how your church or your community group. I dropped a couple F-bombs in here. Sorry. I guess I have a bad habit of just cussing randomly when I don't need to. I just feel like I need to spice up my videos, get more views. All 4 of them are usually me listening to myself talk. Anyways, that's what's been going on this week. If you want to help some kids in your county, you can put together a little project. I can help you. It's free for me to help you. The idea is for me to help you help find some local businesses around your organization to donate to you too, also directly to your organization. I haven't formed a non-profit or a tax-exempt entity. I don't have that going on, and I'm not going to. It's just a consulting and blueprint consulting project with a little blueprint of how you can just do the thing. So check it out. docupletionforms.com, apexlawservice.com, allinservice.org, and yeah, that's it. The National Association of Online Legal Document Professionals is naoldp.org, and my little consulting website. It's free to log in and look at all the notes on how to start a paralegal subcontracting business. That is naoldp.org. I'm really not overly worried about anybody listening to this and then deciding to click on the website or type it into their browser, because if one person listens to this, that's it. But I'm just hoping in the future, when this turns into a multi-million-dollar multi-project, and I have 2 business trusts right now. I'm going to form another 3 or 4 business trusts, with one business trust is the trust that becomes a trustee of the other business trust. So the employee's doing the trustee job. I'm just doing the trustee job of 2 business trusts, which means I file some IRS forms, some other county forms, and I keep my budget balanced. Really, I'm the grantor paying in part of my paycheck while I'm also paying off some back taxes from some real estate investing that our family did a little while ago when my grandfather passed away. We split some things up, and I didn't pay my taxes. I decided to try to go to law school and couldn't find a job while I was up there after paralegal training, and so the state of California takes a quarter of my paycheck from the gas station, which I thought it was going to be next year. Like, oh man, I got my $400 that I was spending a month making progress to where I thought I was going to make some money within the next 6 months from my project. It's going to take me a year or two, but I don't know. Things might look up. I might be able to get a little raise and not work graveyard shifts anymore. If I could put together enough money for a car to drive 30 miles and become an assistant manager, um, it's weird. It's like learning. The gas station is its own industry. You know, there's a lot of law issues that connect to it, but really, I mean, you just have to do your customer service stuff, and all the rules that the business gives you covers all the law issues. But I'm always thinking about the law issues. Um, but our business that we work for, it's a shell, but it was just taken over by Speedway. So the retail has been Speedway, and the management's been Speedway, and the outside was going to change over to Speedway, but COVID hit, and then 7-Eleven bought all the Speedways in the United States. So it's a 7-Eleven now. So I all of a sudden am under the umbrella of 7-Eleven, who they told me 8 years ago when I had the money to buy a franchise that I didn't have the experience because I didn't have the experience. So one partial motivation of going to a gas station rather than a law firm to do paralegal work. It's kind of a triple thing. Like being an entrepreneur, I don't think law firms really like entrepreneurs working within them, and like I don't have the focus to work for a law firm itself. I have the ability to put together paralegal teams to work for an attorney. I have that type of entrepreneurial business manager focus with a full-time job also, but my aim is being completely self-employed, and I don't think it's very attractive to employers other than the type of employer I work for, where they know I'm going to show up and do my job, not steal from the cash register, do the basic functions of the job, be nice to people, be happy within reason. The masks don't make any of us happy. But yeah, I can maybe buy a franchise in a few years if I can get an assistant manager job. It pays $8 more an hour. It's a lot. It's a good amount of money. Assistant managers, I mean, the paperwork in the office that they have to do, I might end up being twice as fast and way better at that part of the job than the people who are my assistant managers. They're good assistant managers. A lot of it has to do with the flow of products, though. I mean, that's what the gas station industry is now, is snacky poos. Energy drinks and snacky poos. So, you show up for the gasoline. Oh, and iPhone cables. Beer, cigarettes. All that stuff has to get cataloged and put out in the right display order for the footprint of the gas station. It's just a cool industry. It keeps my mind occupied, even though I might look every shift that's 8 hours. I space out for a couple half an hour periods where all I'm doing is standing there, like one eye bugging out, looking at the beer cooler. But I really am thinking about some other stuff about the business. But I get tired. People be like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm awake." They're like, "Oh, I didn't think you were asleep." I'm like, "Oh, well." I told my one coworker, I said, "Hey, I took an IQ test the other day. We're talking about what we spend our money on." And he said, "I have to spend money on myself sometimes." I said, "I haven't spent any money for like 3 weeks. It feels great. I've just put it in my bank account and my direct deposit. But I spent $1.99 the other week because I needed to take an IQ test to prove to myself that I haven't gone retarded working here during COVID with all these arguments. Because sometimes I feel brain dead. Like some of the things we talk about, people like, I don't know. Shit just hits me out of left field, and it shouldn't. I shouldn't expect any other kind of conversation at the gas station other than, "Hey, do you sell condoms? Hey, do you have super glue?" Like, people just need random shit. "Do you have duct tape? Do you have oil? Do you have funnels? Do you have beer cups? Do you sell chiladas?" Do you have tortillas? Like, what the hell? Why you guys go to grocery stores? But anyways, I like it all in all. I can't wait till a year from now. It does feel good though, just being in a groove of like being able to go through a work shift, kind of have a sleep. I don't have any deadlines I have to meet with my business, so I can just wait for a few months, uh, build a little surplus. Uh, Working on a single sign-on also, and also conditional webhooks. Just all this shit is just huge. This huge laundry list sounding thing. Said I don't know how to verbally present it. I have a perfect mental view of what it is with my stack of notes. I have a 2.5 foot tall stack of notes that are all like 2-hole punch and ordered and right here for my software in my paralegal business. Just the critical pathway to get where I want to go is all in order, but it takes funding, and I'm almost over the hump of not needing any funding, like not needing a raise at work. And once I pay off my little tax levy, it's a $3,500 thing. It's not going to take me that long, but if I can get a raise, I'll pay it off more quickly, and that's $400 back that I get to use again. So I don't know, $1,000 a month really goes a long way when working on a project like this. Now that I'm 2 years into it and I put $20,000 into the whole thing, and 5 years of since finishing the paralegal program and reading about expert law systems and the ethics of lawyer and non-lawyer use of software. I started studying unauthorized practice of law in like 2010 when I got into the Taft Law School. I just was sitting reading books, and I was looking at being a mediator as a non-lawyer, and there's just automatically issues with crossing the line and giving someone advice, or someone perceiving what you did as a contract that you help them enter. Really, you just get people to come to an agreement on bullet points. And you say to them, these are the bullet points, the things you agree on. I can't assert to you that anything is enforceable and can be put into a contract that would be enforceable, but these are the things you, on a human level, agree about now. Whereas before, you had all these disagreements. So here's an attorney's number. You can go to them and you can make a contract between yourselves. That's like the very most basic form of mediation between parties and a UPL issue. So that stuff is just kind of all built to a really broad knowledge base about how to ethically approach the business of law and legal services and litigation support. I don't know, when I was a college grad, when I got out of Cal Lutheran with my religion major, I didn't know the difference between constitutional rights and civil rights. Such an idiot. I thought I wanted to be a civil rights attorney, and I was telling people about the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment with respect to criminal defense. I'm like, I didn't know the difference. I was talking about wanting to do criminal defense, but calling it civil rights. Like, I don't know. You live and learn. Once you get to be 41 and you realize how many things you had backwards because of studying an opposite side of the spectrum subject matter. But I studied religion because everything came from religion. By and large, across the globe, everything has come out of religion because that's what we had as an order of our society in our earlier ages. So that's my rambling video for this week. Thanks for sticking with it to the end. I'd be stoked if one person watched this whole thing.